There's a thing that she does that you guys do at the end of the scene where she keeps forcing you to look at her no matter where you're looking. She's going pupil to pupil and you're avoiding her at that point because you're so desperate, but you realize you're losing. I mean, does that happen on set? Does that happen because you guys know each other? Did you guys work on that scene?
Yeah, that was when we rehearsed once.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm imagining you in that scene now. No, that was a scene we rehearsed once with Greta before the movie started, and then Greta didn't want us to go near it again. And also, kudos to Greta again. She just shot it very loosely. You know, there was one track, and we did a wide, and then I think we did everything around that wide. But I think James Mangold, who's here, like Greta, they're like really actor-friendly directors, which I'm sure you could speak to better than I could. But they just really have performance in mind. I hate that word, performance. It's not performance. It's like, you know, they have the being of the characters in mind. You never have to fight for your space. I'm sure you know that. You don't have to go, hey, man, I got something good here. You know, they really get it. And that scene, to me, is a testament to that. We had like 2 hours with the light. That's all shot in magic hours. So we shot that in like 3 seconds. And, you know, very proud of that.
How many takes did you do of that?
Not a lot, man. That was like 6, probably like 3 or 4 in a wide, and then close-ups. And I think Saoirse had a flight to catch, literally. And that was it, you know.
I didn't want to know that.
That's the fucked up thing about these formats.
That's the fucked up thing.
you know, yeah.
Like, what was she?
Bob
was she
Dylan
thinking
would
about
say-
her dad, or was she thinking about, well, you know?
Bob Dylan wouldn't say anything here, man.
Bob Dylan never says anything.
I've said more in the last 3 minutes than he ever said
than he
publicly.
said in his life.
Yeah.
Publicly. It's
Fuck.
true, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, Beautiful Boy. I just go back to when I saw Beautiful Boy was the first thing I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't understand. I didn't understand. I grew up, unfortunately, nobody can ever understand this. It's kind of like being an actor of what you're saying and regrounding yourself, because the perception of you when you're successful as an actor is that you're walking a perpetual red carpet waving at people, like no matter where you are, even if you're in an alleyway, you know. I love being famous, you know, and that the work of actually getting into it and the nervousness and finding a moment and all that kind of stuff. But I saw so many of those, and a few stood out. Like when you were in the cubicle, the bathroom cubicle, I just freaked out. But what did you do? Did you do heroin, or like, what the fuck, man? I mean, it was super weird. Like, I know a lot of those guys, and I know a lot of those guys that didn't make it. And I was watching you, and that's why I mentioned Leo and Gilbert Grape. When you're watching Leo do that thing, there's always a tell. You know, there's very, very few performances that you look and you go, they really think this is happening. Like, this is kind of scary. So was it scary for you? That's the first question.
Yeah, honestly, it was, because the material was very dark. And it honestly was. I don't know how else to put it. I had to shoot in LA. I never left New York before, I think, to shoot on a project that long. And I was daunted by the physical challenge of it, losing the weight. And I wasn't an adult yet in many ways. So I was freaked out that a lot of the artists I look up to, when they did great work in their early 20s and they threw themselves into it, that they didn't really emerge the same person. And I didn't want that to happen to me. And Felix Van Groningen was a wonderful director and was very trustworthy and loving with me, but I knew he set that bar very high to lose weight, to just do as much research as possible short of, you know, doing all the drugs. And how else to put it, you know, I don't know how else to put it. Yeah, that's probably I guess I'm proud of all my work, but I'm really, really proud of that movie. And I think at the time you go through this sort of like award season stuff that this year I've been way better able to navigate mentally and just kind of look at it as an extended platform for the release of the movie and not get so wrapped up in it egomaniacally. And I think at that time I was kind of like, because Call Me By Your Name had just come out, and I was hoping it would be embraced the same way. And in the years since, even outside tonight, when people come up to me and they say, hey, that movie impacted me for X, Y reason, or I went through that, or my father went through that, or I lost a sister to a drug overdose, that to me is like, I know my time, my effort, my body was left in a good place, you know, and that it, I don't want to say made a difference. It sounds corny, but that it was well worth it, because it was freaky doing it. It honestly was a jarring experience, and go to Narcotics Anonymous all the time, and that's the real, you know, people are really dealing with that right as we speak.
It's the hardest thing, yeah. It's the hardest thing to do, because there are a lot of people out there who deal with that, and there's a lot of people watching you, waiting for you to fail, you know. And when you represent in a way and you can follow the whole trajectory of that, it's as taxing as it is, it's also truly inspiring, that performance. When Steve Carell, were you involved before Steve Carell?
No, I auditioned for that. He was involved from the jump.
Did you? Was there a moment, like Steve Carell has obviously proven himself to be an amazing dramatic actor, but I'm sure I would have gone like, this is the role of a lifetime. What do you mean, Steve Carell? From The Office?
What do you mean?
I probably would have gone, that sucks for me.
For
Like
you?
you're meaning if I did that role and he was playing my father, I didn't know he was a dramatic actor until that he had the capacity.
No, because I think Foxcatcher had come out, and no, I was just stoked.
What, it had already come out?
Yeah.
Oh, forget it.
I think so.
Forget the question.
No, I was no.
How can I fuck with Steve Carell?
That's what you're doing.
Sorry, that wasn't about you. I thought Steve Carell was there for a second.
You guys got some long-standing beef, huh?
No, not at all.
The Brolin-Carell beef has just been reignited.
No, man, you know how talkative I am, and I always see Carell, and Carell's like, hi.
Yeah.
Like that. I think I did something to him at some point that I don't remember, and I may have.
Interesting.
And that's okay with me today.
Interesting.
We gotta write a book about it, you know? Oh, whatever.
Yeah. You learn something new every day.
I just fucked myself. That's okay. Don't Look Up. And The King, which I have a lot to say about. But Don't Look Up and The King clips right here. Let's look at